sold-out crowd on this Saturday night from Busch Stadium in downtown St. Louis. The Cardinals, a record of 40-26, a 3.5-game lead in the National League Central Division. Colorado in town for Game 2. Welcome to our broadcast booth. Along with Al Roboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jeff Suppan will get the start tonight for the St. Louis Cardinals. And now you go back to his last start on Sunday. It's a chance to redeem himself. He didn't go deep in that game.
Exactly. Fifth time he will be searching for win number 100. Wasn't good last time out, but hopefully he'll follow suit of Carpenter and Marquis. And the biggest difference of those guys, they were extremely aggressive. They controlled the strike zone, they got ahead, and they got hitters out.
Jeff Francis, very good young left-hander for the Colorado Rockies, will get the start. He's 5-5 against Suppan and the Cardinals. When we come back, we'll talk about All-Star third baseman Scott Rowland and his impact on this lineup as of late. Cardinals have played in 11 games without Albert Pujols, and the man that has stepped up and been quite a presence in the middle of the lineup, All-Star third baseman Scott Rowland.
Drive deep left field. Ball hit well to left center field.
What a play here by Scott Rowland. Rowland swings and hits it down the third baseline fair. Game tied.
You know, Albert's hurt, and everybody says, how are you guys going to replace him? We're not. You know, Walt can go anywhere he wants on any team and try to find a bat to replace Alberts, and you're not going to find it, are you? So that's done. This isn't hockey. You know, they're not on a power play where they play with 9 and we get 8 because our first baseman isn't there. We have a first baseman. I'm feeling better. The sickness, as you can take a look at Spezio right now, I think he had a similar viral infection of some kind. He's gone. You know, he's wiped that. It wiped me out. It knocked me pretty good. And it took me a long time to try to get some strength back. I'm still down, 6-8 pounds, whatever, and I'm probably going to play the rest of the season that way. But I'm stronger than I was, obviously, to start, so I feel better physically on the field.
Rounds it back to Erickson, knocks it down. Thought about second and throws wild to first, and Rowland bangs into Choi.
My shoulder, that's just kind of a hang with them, I guess. Everybody has told me all the way through it's going to be a year. You're not going to be normal till a year's time, and because you're playing every day, what's going on, it's probably not going to be normal till next spring. Normal being you're not going to feel it's not going to be a problem. I still have range of motion issues. I'm still weak from time to time, and that's all right. If I can go out and play every day, compete, contribute, have good at-bats, good strong at-bats, if I hit a ball in the screws in right center, left center, and it doesn't go out of the ballpark, hopefully it's a double, and hopefully a couple guys score.
Rolling on his way to second. Ball gets away into right. Here comes Taguchi. Throw by Kearns goes to third. Rolling in there safely, and the Cardinals lead it 2-0.
If I try to start manipulating stuff, trying to overcompensate, trying to pull balls at home runs, I'm going to be in trouble. I've tried that. I've done that. It's subconscious. You don't think about it, but that just happens. But you know what? I'm comfortable getting in there and trying to have good, strong, competitive at-bats and letting it go.
And that one is drilled to deep left, and Scott Rowland will make them boo one more time as he has hit a grand slam.
I'm going to do the best I can, whether I'm hitting third, fourth, fifth, sixth, anything. I prepare every day, and everybody prepares every day to do the very best they can. And that's what we have right now, and we're going to push on.
And his family. We'll talk about that throughout the telecast tonight. 8-1 was the final last night as the Cardinals used a late rally in the ball game last night to pound the Rockies 8-1. We take a look at Clint's lineup, and it's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Corey Sullivan back in there, the center fielder, with very good numbers against tonight's starter Jeff Suppan. Quintanilla is the second baseman. Todd Helton, 309 average against the Cardinals in his career. Matt Holliday also good numbers, power numbers against Jeff Suppan. He's in the lineup. Garrett Atkins, the third baseman, he'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, the right fielder Brad Hopp. Yorvit Tariaba is the catcher. Clint Barm is the shortstop. Jeff Francis, who has beaten the Cardinals this season, is on the mound batting ninth. Pitching for the Cardinals tonight, a record of 5-4, and still looking for that career win number 100. Jeff Suppan, Al, and his numbers brought to you by Advance Auto Parts.
Fifth attempt at career win number 100. He has already defeated Colorado once this year, but he has to improve on his last outing, and hopefully he will follow suit. Jason Marquis was outstanding last night, very aggressive, pitching ahead in the count and really attacking hitters.
Corey Sullivan back in the lineup, the center fielder for the Rockies. Great numbers against Jeff Suppan. The last 2 seasons, he is 6 for 7 against Suppan with a triple.
You think those are good numbers?
I do.
So do I.
Unless you got somebody that's 5 or 1,000, let me know about it.
Right. It's funny how some guy will have one pitcher's number, or someone else is just absolutely dominated by a certain pitcher. Jeff really works on both sides of the plate, can ill afford to pitch in the middle of the plate.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. It's worth repeating what Dave Duncan has talked about with the starting rotation, Al. Being aggressive, and that's what we saw, as you mentioned, with Jason Marquis. He did not allow a leadoff hitter to reach base in any of his 8 innings.
Good start already here, being aggressive. He's thrown 4 pitches. That's the first ball. And after 3 straight strikes, one of them being fouled off, he tried to get the left-hander to elevate.
What's a good start is that the rain has stayed away.
That is helpful also.
Yes, it is. Tarp was on the field about 20 minutes ago. They got the field ready and chalk just in time for this start by Jeff Suppan. It's 78 degrees here in St. Louis.
And Dan, for you and I, first pitch, cha-ching.
We enjoy first pitches, believe me. That's pulled foul by Mr. Sullivan.
A good play by Aaron down there. Our defense is tight tonight.
Makes people beg down there for the ball, though. You notice that?
Oh.
He plays the tough guy role. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Suppan has got to cover first, led perfectly by Miles. Scott Spezio was diving in front of Aaron Miles to try to get to that. Thankfully, he didn't. Auto tire defense. Around the horn we go for the Cardinals. Rodriguez, Taguchi, Encarnacion in the outfield. Roland, the Gold Glover at third. Luna, his 3rd start at short this season. Miles and Spezio on the right side. Molina behind the plate. That's a look at your auto tire defense.
One of the toughest things for a part-time first baseman is know how far to range to your right, or to really see where your second baseman is. And as you said, even if Scott would have fielded that ball, they probably wouldn't have got Sullivan at first base, him laying prone on the ground. So that's what you meant when you said it's a good thing he missed it.
Spezio said after the ball game last night it would be very difficult for him to play 9 innings. So he's going to get the start tonight. We'll see how long he can go. He said it's the worst sickness he has ever dealt with in his life, and he had mono about 1.5 years ago. And yet with this latest ailment, he has lost over 10 pounds, still trying to put weight back on. And it got so bad for him, he couldn't even drink water, he said. Couldn't keep anything down. This one is popped up. Hector Luna, the shallow left, tonight's shortstop for the Cardinals. And Soup looks good after 2 here.
Well, it's all about pitching aggressively, pitching ahead the count, hit your spots, concentrating on location. But a good start.
10 pitches, Al. 8 of those have been strikes. Helton last night 1 for 4, and that one hit was a ball that was popped up into shallow right and should have been caught, but it was lost in the sky by Encarnacion and Miles, and he reached with a single against Marquis. I thought the biggest at bat of the game was Todd Helton. And it was still tight late in the game, and Marquis wearing down, and Jason Marquis won a very good battle between the two.
But a 2-1 game. You know, inning later it ended up at 8-1, but
here's a 1-1 pitch by Suppan. This is just outside. We had a chance to look this up. Hector Luna gets the start at shortstop for David Eckstein again, who's on the bench. And a season ago, you would have figured he at least made 1 start at short. He didn't make any. Eckstein was Mr. Reliable a year ago.
Eckstein is feeling better, but just as precautionary, they pulled him out after the mild concussion.
Experienced headaches all the way through batting practice last night. Late scratch in the lineup. 3-1 pitch by Suppan. Fouled off by Todd Helton. And Luna has been a guy that has been so versatile for Tony La Russa. Third start at shortstop. He's had 9 games in the outfield. He's played over at third when Scott Rowland was out. He's had 22 games at second base. And he's even made a start over at first base too. The 3-2 pitch to Helton. Where's that defense, Al? You got to get in front of that.
Yeah, and scouting out his next person to give the ball to.
Scott Rowland-esque type play, but without Scott Rowland's hands or glove.
Well, Aaron is one of the better fielders down the line, but you can't believe he missed it.
Got to get in front of it, Al. Defensive swing up the middle it goes. Luna ranges to his left, spins and got him. 1-2-3 inning for Suppan. The Rockies and Cardinals, game 2 tonight on FSN on this Saturday night from downtown St. Louis. Look at Tony La Russa's lineup. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Hector Luna is the leadoff man, filling in for David Eckstein, followed by the center fielder So Taguchi. Scott Rowland batting third, then Encarnacion and Spezio Rodriguez, Molina, Miles, and Suppan. Right-handed hitting lineup against the lefty and our Rico starter Jeff Francis of the Rockies.
He's one of the better looking young pitchers. Now I say that not for looks necessarily. I guess he's handsome by other people's standard, but he really knows how to pitch. And he's had the Cardinals number 2-0 lifetime. He's already beaten them once this time with the ERA over 1, but lifetime 0.66. Got a good feel, good sinker, change up type, mix in a slider. Not afraid to pitch inside.
He was lights out back in early May against the Cardinals. He's won at the old Busch Stadium and now at this Busch Stadium. Luna looks at a strike at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. 9th overall pick a few years ago by the Rockies from British Columbia, Canada.
Amongst the league leaders in opponents' batting average. He goes out there and he just, really throws a lot of ground balls, which is special in that Coors Field, their home park.
Another pitch that's low. They say that Luna went around 2-2.
It's deceptive, so he will get some guys to be out in front.
Cardinals as a team tied with Los Angeles with the top batting average collectively at 279, first in the National League.
And over 300, just over 300 this month.
And that's why when people look at what the Cardinals may do at the trade deadline, Al, you get a little bit of an idea how they're playing now without a guy like Albert Pujols, their best bat in this lineup arguably. And more times than not, people say look towards pitching, maybe instead of that bat.
Yeah, but isn't it amazing that, and it's a credit to Tony, the staff, and the players themselves, that so many teams you lose your number 1 superstar and they feel sorry for themselves, and Tony always accentuates what he has.
Swing and a miss as he blew it by him. Rockies defense, 40 years on the season as we go around the horn, brought to you by Auto Tire. Numbers on Jeff Francis, as we told you about. Holliday, Sullivan, and Hopp in the outfield. Atkins, Barmas, Quintanilla at second. Todd Helton at first, and Yorbit Torrealba is behind the plate. Cardinals have won 5 of their last 7 games since leaving home after a real sour note. They were swept by Cincinnati. First pitch, a strike to So Taguchi. Taguchi hitting .283 on the season. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Another one of the players that quietly has picked up the pace.
3 players I think you really look at. Rowland being the first one, Encarnacion the other, and then a guy like Taguchi.
Hey, look at Taguchi, even Molina. Guy's starting to. Whole thing with Taguchi was earlier in the season not swinging at strikes, expanding his zone, getting himself out.
Difference in the game last night. This lineup came alive late. 8th inning, they sent 10 men to the plate. Scored 6 runs on 4 hits. was also 3 walks, and 2 of the walks were issued by Ray King, the former Cardinal, as Taguchi rips it. Just foul. King actually walked in a run with the bases loaded. Two-two pitch to Sho Taguchi. He's hit one right foul, left foul, now back foul.
Well, a lot of that has to do with Francis because he moves the ball, in and out. And so you're going to have a tendency to fight off that inside pitch. Other times you're pitching away, you have to reach for it.
Check swing. Held up.
As Diaz, our first base umpire.
Wearing that black wristband, remembrance of Eric Gregg, umpire who recently passed away. Another 3-2 pitch to Sho Taguchi. Ball 4 inside. 1-out walk to Sho, and it brings in Scott Rowland. The fourth key matchup, a look at the head-to-head between the Rockies and the Cardinals this series. We've talked about it. The Rockies much improved. The Cardinals, though, 3-1 in the 4 meetings. Rockies only hitting .211 those 4 meetings, and the ERA for the Cardinals a difference as well. It's at an even 3. But to be fair, they have all been home games for the Cardinals. We will see the Rockies at Coors Field mid-July.
I'll throw in a disclaimer. The Rockies have actually played better on the road than they have in their home park.
That's true. Sho Taguchi off with the pitch, easily steals the base. Stolen base for Sho Taguchi. He's in scoring position now for Rowland. That was stolen off of Jeff Francis. Torrealba had no chance.
No chance, and Taguchi leads the team in steals. And not only do you want your pitchers to be aggressive, but you want to be aggressive on the base paths. You want to go out there and jump out to a lead, and everything sort of seems to settle into place.
1-0 pitch to Scott Rowland. Pulled and backhanded by Garrett Atkins, the third baseman. Taguchi will advance to third.
You got a ground ball pitcher on the mound, so infield's alert, and a nice play by the third baseman, Atkins. Taguchi played that perfectly, as knew the play was in front of him, so he had to hold his ground, but he didn't retreat back to the bag. When he saw the throw from foul territory, the long throw to first base, he knew he could get to third easily.
Here's Encarnacion hitting .272 now on the year. Room in the left center for Juan. Sure they're going over the charts there that Dave Duncan keeps.
Dave comes up with a pretty good idea for each pitcher. This is how you should retire this hitter. And I mean, he takes everyone's strengths, weaknesses, looks at the matchup, and develops a game plan. But if a pitcher can execute that game plan, they got a better chance of winning. But you got to hit spots. You got to be able to execute.
See the last 4 games for Juan. Cardinals took 2 of 3 at Pittsburgh and won the first game of this series last night.
Been coming up with some key RBIs, even beyond those last 4 games.
You think a hitter gets in the box and says, okay, I've seen 3 pitches now, all have been away, and I look at the center fielder and he shades me to the opposite field.
You got to look that is an indication of where they're going to play.
Exactly. They go in here, and it's driven by Encarnacion into deep left. And it's gone! It's a home run! It sneaks over the wall. Ninth home run for Encarnacion. RBIs 35 and 36, 2-0 Cardinals.
And we say that predominantly they're going to pitch him away, But Francis also, he's still set up outside there, but you see the glove comes back towards the middle, so it didn't get in as far as he wanted it. Or actually, as I said, it was supposed to be away. Luna's excited. Albert feeling a little better, but, you know, with restraint as a cheerleader now.
You see Isringhausen also in the dugout. He'll sit in there for a couple of innings. Sometimes he'll even go back in the clubhouse, take a shower, and then walk back out to the dugout.
Wow, there's guys like Lee Smith would go to sleep until the 7th inning before they'd make their way to the bullpen.
So he makes his way back to the dugout. Then he'll go underneath the stands and walk down the hallway here at Busch, and voila, appear in the bullpen. .22 starts this season for Spezio, hitting over 300 in those starts. Good pitch on the outside corner. After a horrendous start by Juan Encarnacion, he has really picked it up. Breaking ball, and that's strike 2.
And Juan, it's been nice to see. You know, he didn't panic. A lot of people were encouraging, especially his teammates, and kind of come out of that hitting funk.
Spezio, it's been tough to get 9 innings out of him, but he has really delivered when called upon. Already 26 pitches for the young left-hander Jeff Francis. Little low and away. 2-2. Spezio, a couple Fridays ago to start the road trip against Milwaukee, had about 1 swing in him, he said, and it was a good one. Bases loaded and cleared him. Hits it out to short. Short hop by Clint Barmas, and the Cardinals are done in their half of the first. The home run by Encarnacion, his 9th. The reaction from Jeff Francis. Was it going to get out? It had just enough. 2-0 Cardinals. 2-0 Cardinals as we move to the top of the second. Here's Matt Holliday. First pitch, drills it out to deep right. Encarnacion back, looks up, and it's gone. The lead is cut in half. Holliday, his 3rd home run of his career against Jeff Suppan. He's now 4 for 6 against Soup. A solo shot, his 14th on the year, and it's 2-1.
Watch out, too, because he has a tendency to hit multi-home run games against the Cardinals, 2 of his career 6. Nearly 500 hitter against the Cardinal pitching in his career. Went down to 450, but Soup trying to challenge him in the strike zone. You can't throw it in the middle of the plate.
Garrett Atkins saw his 14-game hitting streak come to an end last night. Holliday went down and got it and drove it the opposite way. He's a good-looking player. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, you know, they have changed their philosophy so many times in Colorado, and I think now they're just trying to find baseball players and then home-grow sinker ball pitchers.
Hit to short, taken by Luna for the first out. Well, Holliday came in 5th best in the National League with a .340 average. Scott Rowland no longer leading the league, just a few points behind Nomar Garciaparra. And we've talked about, you know, Scott Rowland having a chance to be the comeback player of the year. Nomar's got a real good chance too.
Good point.
He has been outstanding with the Dodgers playing first base. For the longest time it was A-Rod and Jeter and Garciaparra, and look at what's happened with those 3 former shortstops. 2 of them. One's over at 3rd, the other one's at 1st. And Jeter, the captain of the Yankees, still at short. No balls and 2 strikes.
Trying to see what Jeff does now. He's got 2 pitches in on Hop. See if he continues to go that pattern or if he tries to work him away. Get him to roll over on a pitch.
Hop hit his 13th home run of the season last night. Colorado's lone run of the game. The team leader is Holliday now. He's got 14 and Hop has 13.
Away now for the first time in the sequence.
13 home runs and 10 of those have come away from Coors Field.
Counted for the lone run for the Rockies last night. Changeup.
2-2 pitch. And a full count.
He's also showing a tendency for a good batting eye. So he's going up there, making a pitcher come with a pitch. That's a good combination. Back inside, but you've got to throw a strike down.
Popped up left side. Molina will give chase. He's going to run out of room. We've already seen 2 home runs in this game tonight. Interesting article in the Post-Dispatch locally here in St. Louis talking about home runs up. Encarnacion has hit 1 and Matt Holliday this inning has hit 1. And Hal McRae believes that the ball does not travel as well at this ballpark as it did in the old ballpark.
It travels well down the lines and better from center field on over to left.
This one hammered out to left center. On the move, so Taguchi. And it's going to be John Rodriguez who makes the catch. It's finally here, Al. The day you've been waiting for. The second annual Purina Pooches in the ballpark. This Sunday. Pooches in the ballpark.
I'm going to have to borrow Nicky's dog to come down here.
Find out more at the Schnooks on Arsenal or give the Cardinals a call at 345-9000. Pitch in the dirt to Yorvit Torrealba, hitting 194, his second start in as many games in this series.
Just reinstated from the disabled list on June the 2nd. Had a shoulder strain he sustained in early spring.
Ground ball hit to the former Rocky Miles, ranges to his left and makes the play. Holliday, a solo home run. It cuts the lead at 2-1. This is presented by the authority of the Cardinals LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals LLC. Al Hrabosky, Dan McLaughlin with you. Lead cut in half. It's now 2-1. The Cardinals half of the second. Matt Holliday with a solo home run, his 14th against Jeff Suppan. John Rodriguez, Yadier Molina, Aaron Miles for the Cardinals. Cardinals got a 2-run homer from Juan Encarnacion. They lead it 2-1. So the home runs, the new Busch Stadium up 16% over the first 34 games compared with the same number of games played last year at the old Busch.
But you also saw Dave Duncan's comments about why.
This one is hit out to right center. That ball's going to get down. It's going to roll to the wall. Rodriguez digging for 2. Is he going to go 3? He's going to try it. J-Rod on his way to third. He's going to get in there. Leadoff triple for John Rodriguez.
As an old baseball adage, you don't make the first or third out at third base. And challenged the defense, and he came out on top. All the way to the wall. Hop has a good arm. Gets it to his relay man, the second baseman, and it's just a little offline. See Oquendo telling him, that's a base running play where the runner has to make the decision himself. It's in front of him, and now you see Oquendo telling him everything. But it was a nice shot where you saw Oquendo telling him which side to slide to. Slide to the inner half, the inner part of the base, because the throw was coming to the outside.
Here's Molina with an RBI opportunity. Finish your point about Dave Duncan. He said our walks are up too. Goes hand in hand with the home runs.
Walks are up. Pitchers pitching behind the count. Hitters are hitting in favorable counts.
Molina hits it in the air down the right field line, and it's going to drop foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yadier had an RBI base hit last night's game. His best friends on the team is that man Albert Pujols, who also works as a pseudo coach when it comes to helping him hit. Molina hitting just .217 on the year.
22 RBIs, shaking out that left wrist.
He says he's all right. Count of 1 ball, 1 strike. Miles on deck, and then you've got the pitcher. Again popped up right side. That'll find the seats. Late arriving crowd here at Busch Stadium. I'm sure the rain had something to do with that. It has stayed away, and now it's a sea of red here at Busch Stadium.
So he's shaking out that wrist, and I think Oquendo's trying to make sure he's okay. Now it's his shoulder.
It makes you wonder, too, in watching the last 2 swings out, kind of lazy swings.
Well, it's like you can't pull the bat through the zone.
Working on his left side.
Take a look at it. It's the left shoulder. Really showed too much reaction there, but Oquendo came down immediately. You know, he doesn't want to come out of this game, and we're team's a little banged up right now, but
umpire and Greg Hawk, the trainer, probably the only guys that can't understand a thing in that conversation. Tony speaking Spanish, Molina and Oquendo speaking Spanish.
We're going to talk about the umpires because Major League Baseball has instituted a new umpiring camp. They've got a couple camps this fall out in Long Beach, California. Home plate umpire Ted Barrett is going to be one of those instructors.
Count of 1 and 2 on Molina. Trying to go inside on this pitch. Taps it to the third baseman. He makes an error. The run scores easily, and Molina is safe at first.
They might even give a base hit on that. It's kind of a do or die play for Garrett Atkins.
Got to figure, though, the way that Molina runs, he just gets a glove on it. He's going to get Yadier by 4 or 5 steps.
Yeah, came right in there, right at the edge of the grass, and a little number like that, the run will score easily. And they do score in there. Nice going partner. I'd rather give him a base hit.
Me too. Help him out.
But I like the fact the run scored.
E5 RBI for Molina, his 23rd. And now it's Aaron Miles. 3-1 Cardinals.
First series, Miles had just a terrific series against his former team.
And he was the guy that got things going last night in the 8th with a double over the center fielder's head. He actually came up twice in the inning. The Cardinals sent 10 men to the plate.
That was a really good ball game last night that just kind of fell apart for the Rockies there in the 8th inning.
Cardinals had 4 hits in that inning.
Every right-handed batter to this point against Francis, they have played them around to the right defensively in the outfield.
2-0 pitch coming to Miles. Jeff Francis, his first time against the Cardinals this year back in May, was awfully aggressive, and he was aggressive out early in the counts. And it just seemed like no Cardinal hitter got comfortable in the box.
A lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, he's pitching to contact. You know, he's a guy that gets a lot of ground balls. He's got a good sinker.
3 balls, 1 strike. So twice tonight, Jeff Suppan has seen a lead of 2 runs. It was 2-0 after the first. He allowed a run. Now it's 3-1 Cardinals on top here in the bottom of the second. It's up to that pitcher then the following inning, Al, to make sure that they keep the momentum on their side and shut the door. Runner is going. Looked to be a delayed steal or maybe a hit and run. Either way, Molina is out as he stares back at Aaron Miles. Somebody blew it.
You would never, but even as you said, it looked like a delayed steal for us because even if it was a hit and run, he wasn't moving. You know, and Francis is very slow to the plate, but Molina is even slower. So that's a botched play.
Yadier caught stealing. Now he's going to visit with the training staff of the Cardinals. Keep an eye on Gary Bennett, see if he starts putting some of the catcher's gear on. Dave Duncan went down there as well in that little tunnel which leads to the clubhouse here at Busch Stadium. 3-2 pitch to Miles. A swing and a miss. That's the second out here in the bottom of the second. Told you about this crowd late arriving, and it's a sea of red here in St. Louis. Glad you're with us on FSN.
Well, we can't emphasize enough that if you want tickets to these future games, you better start contacting the ticket office or get in that line for those 250 tickets available every game. You know, or the Prime Seat Club. That's your best bet right there.
School is out, vacations around the Midwest are fired up now, and a lot of people make a vacation stop here in St. Louis for a weekend.
Plan their summer around coming to a Cardinal baseball game or two.
Suppan hits it down the right field line. Hop over, almost made the catch, flies into the seats. Had a glove on it. Good effort there by Brad Hopp. Almost came up with it.
Yeah, but once again, I mean, Cardinal fans give him a clear lane, and nobody jumps up there to really kind of impede. And you see where I'm saying that gentleman in the purple shirt, but he was lucky in one sense that it was a walkway.
He was lucky, too, that he misjudged it, I think. He was going to go after it. It was an older version of Bartman down the right field line, Al.
Well, you got that low wall, and it can be very dangerous because outfielders think they're going to run into the waist high and stop them.
Good play to his left. That's Garrett Atkins, and he retires Jeff Suppan. Takes a hit away. Cardinals pick up another run, and it's 3-1 St. Third here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals lead it 3-1. Keep an eye on Molina as they had a long conversation with him after he got back in the dugout to check on him. The training staff, Tony La Russa, Dave Duncan as well. This date in baseball history, 1994, Ken Griffey Jr. hits his 30th home run of the season. He joins Babe Ruth as the only players to hit 30 home runs before June 30th. Our Schnooks, this date in baseball history, June 17th of 1994.
Well, there was another one that Pujols would have had a chance to equal or surpass.
With all the problems that baseball has faced with steroids and HGH, you never hear the name of Ken Griffey Jr.
Nope. Makes his accomplishments all the more remarkable.
Clint Barmes, the shortstop who grew up in Illinois, played at Indiana State, grew up cheering for the Cardinals. First man up for the Rockies, 1 ball, 1 strike. A struggle for Barmes. Comes in hitting just .205. Miles on the outfield grass, 1 away. That's 5 ground ball outs. First 8 that Suppan has seen. Brings in the pitcher, Jeff Francis, who is 2 for 2 against Jeff Suppan in his career.
Lifetime against the Cardinals with an excellent ERA of 0.66 before tonight.
Given up 3 runs thus far against the Cardinals. 1 ball, 1 strike on Francis. Said he grew up idolizing Larry Walker. He was from his area. Walker was still with Colorado, and Francis was drafted 9th overall. Said he met Larry, first guy he saw in the clubhouse, and the first thing Walker did was give him a bear hug.
Might have broke a rib or two.
Sounds like Larry, doesn't it?
Well, you know, when he first came up, didn't he win 6 or 7, the first 6 or 7 starts in Coors Field?
He's very good. Hit to Rowland. What a play. Wow, what a play by Scott Rowland. Tomorrow it's Father's Day. It's Coca-Cola Commemorative Baseball Day. Treat your dad to a game and he'll receive a baseball highlighting the new Busch Stadium. That's Coca-Cola Commemorative Baseball Day tomorrow here at Busch Stadium. Looks like Rowland wasn't sure whether or not to backhand it or take it the way that he did.
And then, you know, his feet look like it's semi-tangled up a little bit. He's going to be a spokesman for, you know, prostate cancer awareness tomorrow.
And there will not be a 7th inning stretch, but a 6th inning stretch.
And you know why, don't you?
What, 6 out of 10?
One out of 6.
One out of every 6, yeah.
1 out of every 6 males will contract prostate cancer. But now they've made such great strides for research that there's a very, very curable cancer if you get it early.
Of course, Big Dog knew that. He had a smirk on his face. Our cameraman up here in the booth. He is all-knowing.
And
every stat, every player, everything that goes on. This man knows.
And the bases will be blue.
Two balls and 1 strike on the top of the order, Corey Sullivan. Suppan still trying to hook up with Molina. Hit out to left. Late break by J-Rod, and he makes the catch. 6 straight set down by Suppan. Coming up, Luna, Taguchi, and that man, Scott Rowland. McLaughlin with you from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Cardinals have a lead of 3-1. Cardinals half of the third, top of the order, Hector Luna. Struck out his first time up. First pitch popped up. The third baseman, Atkins, he takes it in foul territory for the first out. Luna 0 for 2. But just joining us, Hector Luna, starting in place of David Eckstein.
Third game Eckstein has missed this season, and 2nd in a row. That little mild concussion, but David's feeling much better.
So Taguchi with a walk. Run scored after he stole the base and came around on the home run by Encarnacion. Second time through the order for Jeff Francis now. One ball, 1 strike, left-hander on the mound. So the Cardinals sit Edmonds, Duncan, Timo Perez. Eckstein also on the bench along with Gary Bennett. Taguchi pops it up. Quintanilla takes it for out number 2. And Francis trying to make quick work of the Cardinals in their half of the third. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Scott Rowland. Rowland was voted to the All-Star game a year ago. Did not play. Morgan Ensberg took his spot, and he's got some competition this year with David Wright.
They're waiting for Usher to clear the backdrop. So he went to go pick up a ball, and then he started talking to people.
Glad he knows the rules out there. These ushers now, they're working hard.
I don't think that ball was in play, was it?
No. Really took something off that pitch, and it's no balls, 2 strikes.
Sinker, change up, and some sliders. people off balance. He'll run the ball up and in like that, down and away.
Go back inside on Rowland. Misses. And it's 2-2. Scott Rowland has scored a run coming into play tonight. 8 straight games. Defense, scoring runs, average up, driving the ball now. A little bit of everything. 2-2 pitch. Out front, popped it up. Torrealba, we can hear him up here. He's calling for it, and he's got it. 3 innings in the books, and it's 3-1 Cardinals. Busch Stadium, top of the 4th. Cardinals lead it 3-1. Omar Quintanilla, number 2 man in this lineup, will lead it off, followed by Todd Helton and Matt Holliday. Very good story done on Clint Hurdle and his wife, their family. Our pregame tonight. Prader-Willi syndrome, PWS. Daughter suffers from that. It's pulled foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Clint Hurdle has gone through an awful lot in his professional career and his personal life too, Al.
Yes, it really has, but nice to see him persevere. And well liked in Colorado. He spent a long time as coach before he got named manager, and he's got a young team that he should feel very proud of, and they've got things moving in the right direction.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Fans are starting to come back. Remember the crowds that they used to draw at Coors Field their first couple of seasons.
Over 4 million.
Remarkable.
You know the interesting thing is, Dan, for 20 plus years, Major League Baseball did not move or resisted the move to Colorado because they felt they would never draw. They felt that the Rocky Mountains would be a barrier and they wouldn't have enough fan base. And they're much like the Cardinals. They draw from about 8 states also.
Spezio dives for it, flips to Suppan and gets him. Similar play earlier in the game. He dove to his right, couldn't come up with it. And this time he does and flips to Jeff Suppan. Tomorrow, NASCAR on Fox returns with Nextel Cup Racing from Michigan. The world's best drivers take to the track. Defending champ Greg Biffle looks to take home the checkered flag. Nextel Cup Racing tomorrow, 12:30, high definition on Fox. Scott Spezio. This is his 4th start at first base this season for the Cardinals. He made a good play. Just trying to figure out when to dive, when to get out of the way, when do you go back to the bag. The nuances of playing first.
And the pitcher's responsibility, anytime it goes to the first base side, you must cover. Sometimes that first baseman will go range so far to his right, and then that pitcher will fail to cover, and it all goes for naught.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Helton. Perfect pitch by Suppan. Let's go back to the play by Spezio.
Kind of see this time he's off the line, a little slower hit, and you saw where Miles, he would have fielded the ball, but Suppan right there as he should be, and a nice little flip and good execution on both parts.
1-2 pitch, a curveball, squibbed down to Rowland. Barehanded play, throws on the run, and not in time. Still made it close. Base hit for Todd Helton, who's limping a little bit.
It's a nifty play. How many third basemen would have even made the effort to make the throw?
What did Helton do to himself too on this play?
Yeah. Just throwing down there, bare hand, has something on the throw. Eckstein tried to cheat, or excuse me, Spezio tried to cheat at the other end to come off the bag and appear they got there, and almost looked like Helton got tangled up, maybe got clipped by the heel of Spezio's foot. And you don't expect Todd Helton to hit a little dribbler like that.
No.
One of the best hitters in the game.
And Rowland was playing very deep over at third base. Amazing that he made it as close as he did. Matt Holliday homer to the opposite field, his first time up. 3 against Jeff Suppan in his career.
Jeff's nemesis.
Pitch inside. Cardinal nemesis too.
Well, he's big and strong, and I know he's hit at least a couple of his home runs against the Cardinals in this ballpark already, this new ballpark, and it's multiple home runs to right field.
Three and 0. Not even close. And that is the first walk issued by Jeff Suppan tonight.
Well, let me tell you, watching Jeff and how good his control's been here today, that was controlled pitching.
Yeah.
He's going to be getting a lot of ground balls. Even though you move a man into scoring position, I think Jeff said, I don't want any part of Holliday. I'll try and get the ground ball double play off of Atkins.
7 ground ball outs. First pitch to Garrett Atkins is a strike. He grounded out to short his first time. Miles trying to keep the runner at second close. That's helped.
Jeff is following suit. He's going after these hitters, attacking them inside, straighten them up a little bit, then he can work them away, change the speeds.
See if he can't get him to reach and roll over a ground ball to short and get a double play. 0-2.
Yep. Asking Molina to go back to the sequence of signs.
Oh, 2 pitch in the dirt outside. We're in the fourth. The Cardinals lead at 3-1. Couple of home runs tonight. Matt Holliday, Juan Encarnacion, and Molina has an RBI. Runners at first and second. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Suppan has really slowed it down with a couple of runners on.
Saw why early in the count he threw a couple pitches in as Atkins starts with a real open stance, and then as the pitcher is in the windup and makes his pitch, he takes his left leg and steps straight in towards the batter, meaning you can, if you get the ball in, you can jam it.
One-two pitch. Pulled foul. .61 pitches thrown by Suppan as we play here in the top of the fourth.
One good pitch away from getting out of the inning with a double play.
Two and two.
Fastball's inside, and then the breaking ball. Wanted to keep it down, but he's thrown it in the dirt. I'd rather have that than hang it. It's a splitter. See the tumbling action on it. And Molina with a nice slide to his right to block it.
Splitter or a changeup. You know, it's almost the same thing for him.
A lot of people like to teach that split finger because while you're learning it, and maybe you don't get the tumbling action, but you can be an effective changeup in the process.
Which is essentially what Supan's got.
Dave Duncan wants to see a ground ball to take any one of the infielders, but let's make it go to the 6-time Gold Glover, Scott Rowland.
2-2 pitch to Garrett Atkins. Ball 3. Rockies want to be aggressive here, Al, with runners at first and second.
With all the ground balls, you could understand that philosophy. They're not the same team that used to just wait back and wait for the home run.
Time is called.
Molina is the one that called time. Said Barrett made sure everyone knew that. Or if he had second thoughts of something he called. Or maybe he looked at Atkins and saw him, you know, cheating with his feet, thinking the ball would be one location or another. He's got the glove on the ground.
Runner's not going. Slowly hit to third and foul. Mike Gallego, former Cardinal, and played for Tony La Russa for a number of years in Oakland. On the staff with Clint Hurdle.
Former Cardinal, too, for a brief period of time.
96 was Tony's first year. Gallego was here.
Another guy that's kind of been on the Rockies have passed. Walt Weiss, one of Tony's favorites.
Does not travel with the club. Dress out for home games.
But these two can't get together.
It's a 4th time, Al, in this inning alone that either Molina's called time or Supan has stepped off.
Well, you know, it doesn't look good, but right now it, you know, you got a 3-2 count. You got 2-run lead. You got a couple men on, so might as well get it. Take all the time you need to get it straight. But sure got all your fielders back on their heels. You don't often say that with a Cardinal team, or Cardinal pitcher.
Runners at first and second. Count of 3-2. Here it comes from Supan. Runners go. Pitch is taken for a ball. 4. And so the bases will be loaded. We had 2 strikes on him for the longest time, and Supan lost him. Back-to-back walks. The base is loaded. And it brings in Brad Hopp.
Well, you know, it's right there. It's the same old thing. You know, he's been so good because he's been very, very aggressive. So he got ahead 0-2 and then tried to make that perfect pitch and lost him.
Hopp hitless last night, came in with a 14-game hitting streak into the series with the Cardinals. Line to left his first time up. Supan again can't get the pitch that he wants. A broken bat popped up. Rolling on the move. He'll get there.
Big pitch, big out.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. For Torrealba.
Trying to come in there, executes it. Right above the hands, popping him up, tying him up, breaks the bat, and gets a big out.
And it's up to Torrealba, who grounded to second, first time up.
Off the average there with the bases loaded.
Breaking ball, strike one.
A lot of times you throw that get ahead breaking ball.
Torrealba spent time with San Francisco and Seattle, now with Colorado. In the dirt, blocked by Molina. Nearly a wild pitch. See Molina just in that reaction, Al, looks frustrated with Jeff Suppan as far as getting signs, and in particular on his last pitch.
Well, you know, it's one of those situations that probably the least understood the relationship between a pitcher and a catcher. And some days everything's perfect, you're working together in unison, you know, and other days it's almost like you're fighting each other.
Here's a 1-1. Grounder hit to short. Luna settles, throws. Suppan out of the jam. Bases loaded and one out. The Rockies can't cash in. Encarnacion due up first. First time up, he went deep.
Am I that bad tonight? Sure, I don't know. Got the sticky fingers tonight.
Here's a 2-1. Left side. What a play by Roland. Gets the out at second, 2 out. Cardinals win.
2 years ago, Marlon Anderson wearing a mic for us, and he would score the winning run. And that's a look live right now between Jeff Suppan and Yadier Molina, trying to get on the same page. The Cardinals beat the Oakland A's that night 5-4. Anderson had a couple of errors but scored the winning run. Also, some names that were stars that night, Al: Edgar Renteria, Cody McKay, and Ray Langford. Still with the Cardinals at that point. Reggie Sanders had the game-winning hit. A lot of people believe that Reggie Sanders will be on the move and out of Kansas City very shortly. Encarnacion out to deep left. Did he do it again? Holliday back, and it's gone. His second home run of the night. How hot is Encarnacion? His 10th home run, and it's 4-1 Cardinals.
What a difference a couple months make. Target of a lot of the fans in April, and now he's a target of a lot of their cheers. Second home run of the night, counted for 3 of the 4 RBIs. 10 home runs, second on the team, 37 RBIs.
Spezio trying to bunt his way on, and it rolls foul. Some of the fans waiting for a curtain call here at Busch Stadium. Strike one on Spezio.
Spezio's too young, or he's too new to the Cardinal scene. He's right in the middle of the plate, but you still have to hit it, and he did.
April, Encarnacion, 2 home runs, a .222 average, and only 7 RBIs. And what made it worse was the fact he was coming up with runners in scoring position. It seemed like every at bat, and could not deliver. Got up to a very slow start. Let's pass the third baseman Atkins. Spezio winds up at first. In May, a little bit better for Juan when he hit .260 with 5 home runs, and here in June he is on a tear. Near .400 average, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, 392 feet off the bat of Juan Encarnacion. 64 hit by the Cardinals this year. Suntrep will donate $100 for each Cardinal home run. The win one for the charity fund.
Sergeant Cryer of St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department in there.
A base hit given to Spezio. Here's Rodriguez, who doubled last night, and a triple already tonight. First time he's had back-to-back games with extra base hits. Has not hit any home runs yet this season. Still looking for that first round tripper as Spezio is back in safely, but I think you and I would both agree that looking at him right now, he is a better hitter than he was a year ago, despite the fact no home runs.
He's cut down on his strikeouts, but he still feels the pressure of no home runs. Last night he swung the bat well, and good start tonight.
But to me, when I watch him, it's the adjustment with the off-speed pitches, in particular the change-ups. That one got him, but he's much better and more equipped to battle when he gets deep into a count.
And you know, he's had some of his best at bats against left-handed pitching. So it's not like when there's a lefter out there you need to take him out of there. Of course, tonight they're kind of limited. They have to play one left-handed bat. Cardinals have been trying to run off of Francis. He is typical of most guys that are 6'5", that are slow to the plate.
Ball and a strike on John Rodriguez. Check swing, he went around. Encarnacion, 3 RBIs, 2 home runs.
Talked about that umpires camp. If you're interested, MLBUC.com. Find all the information. Long Beach, November 5th through the 12th, and November 12th through the 19th. A couple camps.
Curveball, and he couldn't get on top of it. It hits Rodriguez, and the first 3 have reached in the 4th against Jeff Francis. Just a curveball that got away from him.
Yep, and John does a good job of just kind of staying there, not moving too much, allowing it to hit him, reach base, and that's important.
Molina with runners at first and second, 4-1 Cardinals here in the 4th.
He's been swinging the bat a lot better of late.
Let's watch this swing. If he's going to bunt, though, remember the last time he was up, the training staff was out to take a look at him. It was his left shoulder, and it looked like his bat was dragging a little bit in that at bat from the pain in that shoulder. The risky run in having him sacrifice in any spot is the chance of a double play because of his running speed.
Yep, but if he just hit a ball to normal shortstop, there's no way Barmes could really, recover.
He squares again. It's bunted to third. Only plays to go to first. Low throw. Molina retired for the first out. Runners at second and third. And they do have first base open with the pitcher on deck. Let's see how they want to play this with Miles.
Let's just hope that was a byproduct of strategy to sacrifice there and not something to determine that his shoulder is like they don't want him to swing the rest of the game.
Infield is drawn in. Outfield very shallow for Miles.
They're going to
former
pitch
teammate.
Start out. If they get behind in the count, maybe they'll pass him.
If they pitch to him, which the first pitch is in for a strike, do the Cardinals elect to try to squeeze here with Miles? They tried to do it with Miles in Pittsburgh, and he bunted it into the air and into a double play. His last time he had a chance to do it.
Now there's 2 schools of thought. One is you don't want to do that. The other, and I think what Tony would adopt, is you would do it because you want him to quit thinking about it.
Miles swinging away, falls behind, 0-2.
Doesn't have many extra base hits or many RBIs. You get the bunt down, and in Pittsburgh you lined it to the first baseman for that double play. But if you get that bunt down, you're going to beat most defenses.
Outfield again, very, very shallow for Miles. 0-2 pitch. Miles hits it down the left field line. It's a fair ball. 2 runs are going to score easily. It's 6-1 Cardinals. Miles to second. He'll stop there. He delivers on an 0-2 pitch.
Your 8th place hitter can do that for you. You're going to be in very fine shape. really is only not many RBIs. This gives him 9 for the season, and he didn't have hardly any in May and in the first couple of weeks of June. So a key base hit here on a breaking ball, pulls it into the corner, 2-run score, so that big sacrifice by Molina is paid off, and now it's a 5-run lead for Jeff Suppan.
RBIs 8-9 for Aaron Miles, and the bullpen getting loose for the Rockies. Right-hander up and throwing. We saw Doman and Ramirez last night.
David Cortez is the right-hander warming up.
They've got 3 left-handers in their bullpen. Jeff Suppan grounded out to third his first time up. He hits it out to left this time. Drops in for a hit. They're going to hold up Miles at third. Suppan is 1 for 2. And it brings in the top of the order, Hector Luna, still only 1 out. Tomorrow night, the world's best players will once again gather to finally answer the question, who is the greatest poker player in the world? Find out on the Poker Superstars 3 tomorrow at 8, only on FSN Midwest. It's not Clint Hurdle, it's the pitching coach.
Bob Apodaca out there to talk to Francis. I've been waiting to tell you that Francis has given up just a shade more than 1/3 of his runs this year in the 5th inning, and yet he may not get there tonight.
70 pitches.
Not so much the pitch count, it's the Cardinal bats that may knock him out.
This inning, Encarnacion with his 2nd home run of the night. That started at a solo shot, and his 10th. As you see the righty David Cortez getting loose. After that, it was a single. Then it was 0-2 on Rodriguez. He hit him. A sacrifice by Molina, and then Miles went down to get the double. And this was an 0-2 pitch as well.
It's a slow breaking ball. They wanted it inside. It's just lazy, and he was able to recover a little bit out in front. Here's just a fastball running in, and he uses his hands and just plunked it over the infield to left field.
Luna up there swinging away.
Luna, the only Cardinal, including Suppan, that hasn't reached base tonight. Well, Scott Rowland hasn't either. He's so hot we just assume he's been on base.
He's 0 for 2. Luna 0 for 2. 0-1 pitch with runners at first and third. Fouled back by Hector.
Hector over the last 10 days, one of the hottest Cardinal hitters.
Hitting .462. Oh, 0-2 pitch to Luna. Upstairs, taken for a ball, 1-2.
That was the pitch that Luna struck out on the first time up.
Luna pops it up on the infield. Quintanilla makes the catch for the 2nd out. Eighth man to come to the plate this inning, so Taguchi. Runners at first and third. Miles standing at third. Suppan with his base hit is at first. First pitch to show. Strike 1. Taguchi walked, stole a base, scored a run on the 2-run shot by Encarnacion in the first, and has popped out to the second baseman, Quintanilla. Washington beat the Yankees 11-9, and the Yankees led 9-2 after scoring 7 runs in the 5th. Washington comes back, and the Nationals win the game 11-9. Taguchi. It's it. into the seats. Boston over Atlanta 5-3. Atlanta now has lost 16 of their past 19 games. And the Mets are running away with that division.
Somehow, some way, you always think their reign is going to end, but they battle back. But I think this one, the odds are not good this year for Atlanta.
Papelbon had the save. He's got 22 now, and he has been dominant. Beckett the win. He's 8-3. Youkilis and Ortiz went deep. There's a grounder hit to short. Force play at second. And the Cardinals are done, but they pick up 3 runs for Jeff Suppan here in the bottom of the 4th. Encarnacion, the home run. Aaron Miles with a key double to play 2. It's 6-1 St. Louis. Cardinal defense in particular in the infield. Luna early on in this game ranging to his left. That would end the top of the 1st. Aaron Miles from the outfield grass. Lots of ground ball outs tonight, Al.
Well, that's what the key, and that's controlled by the pitcher. Here you see every play, every fielder in the infield has made a nice play. So Jeff really is only allowed 2 hits, and one of them was the home run from Holliday. He's gone out there. He's pitched aggressively for the most part. He did last inning give up an infield single and then walk 2, but got out of the inning without a run scored. And his offense has been good.
1-0 pitch to Clint Barmes. Start the 5th is a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Barmes rounded out to second his first time up. He's 0 for 1, hovering around that 200 mark. Chases a ball and helps out Suppan. Jeff Francis is on deck. Cardinals leading 6-1. Then we'll see Corey Sullivan. Story tonight, Juan Encarnacion. Couple of home runs. His first multi-home run game since 2002 when he was with Florida. Barmes strikes out.
Aren't you surprised that it was the only second of his career?
Yeah, very surprised. Artie's hot pitch, Suppan to Barmes, and his first strikeout of the night.
Well, this is why we talk. You see he's throwing it off center, so he's going to have a little bit of a tilt there. But you know, that's why you pitch aggressively. You get ahead in the count, and then you let hitters expand their zone and get themselves out.
Clint Hurdle wants to get at least 1 more inning, if not 2, out of Jeff Francis. So hitting for himself, down by 5 runs at 6-1. Took a good play by Scott Rowland to retire him his first time up.
And you noted that he was 2 for 2 off of Suppan before that.
Pitches by inning. The big one was in the 4th, but he got out of a bases loaded jam with 1 out with no damage. The only damage done tonight, solo home run by Matt Holliday back in the 2nd, and Suppan has picked up the pace.
A lot of pitchers can work fast with nobody on, but then they slow it down and sometimes too much with runners on.
I would say last inning is a perfect example of that.
And part of that was seemed like the communication trouble with Molina, which appears they've ironed out as the combination is retired 3 in a row.
4 or 5 times those two would either call time or step off the mound. Trying to get on the same page. A ball and 2 strikes on Francis. Swing and a miss. Foul tip. Held on to by Molina. Strikeout number 2 for Suppan tonight.
And we all know that Bob Gibson was one of the fastest workers, but he used to balk quite a bit at times with McCarver because he and McCarver thought so well alike that Bob would start his windup as he was getting the sign, and 2 or 3 times he'd get almost to the point of his release point and say, "Oh, Timmy, that's not the pitch." But more times than not, he could wind up and look in for the sign, and they would be the one that he wanted from McCarver.
Here's Sullivan, 0 for 2. He was the big nemesis against Jeff Suppan coming into play tonight. Rounded out, flied out, 0 for 2. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs, nobody on. The Cardinals leading 6-1. St. Louis in their half of the 5th will have Rowland, Encarnacion, and Spezio. Jammed him, popped up. Rolling. Foul territory, makes the play. A 1-2-3 inning for Suppan. He's retired 5 straight. Cardinals on top, 6-1. Tomorrow, tune in at 10 as we hear from Whitey Herzog. In my own words, White Rat reminisce about the good and bad times with the Cardinals and the Royals. In my own words, Whitey Herzog, tomorrow at 10 on FSN. David Eckstein.
Still looks a little out of it, doesn't he?
Maybe the hat, if it's pulled down, hurts the headache.
Right.
Rolling out to deep right. And Hoff has got a beat on it.
Speaking of Whitey Herzog, he called me back. He's at a golf tournament. I think he said in Minnesota, but he is definitely going to be one of our callers that we will communicate on one of these Cardinal games.
That was how about last night? Wasn't Will Clark just
he's
outstanding?
a fun guy. He's a fun guy, and and Cardinal fans have to sit there and say, players say how much fun they have playing here, but when you hear him talk about it like that, you know it's genuine.
Passionately, and he must have said it 2 or 3 times, thanking the fans for making the experience so much fun for him. Fun for us too. Encarnacion out to center. First time he's been retired tonight. Heard the nice round of applause for Juan Encarnacion as he's got a couple of home runs tonight.
As I said, the 5th inning has been the bugaboo inning for Francis. He's allowed just a shade more than 1/3 of his runs in the 5th inning, but it looks like he might have a very easy one, but he's had trouble in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd and 4th innings tonight.
2 outs, nobody on for Spezio. Spezio 1 for 2 with a run scored. Cardinals with runs in the 1st. They picked up 2. Another one in the 2nd, 3 more in the 4th. And they lead it 6-1. Scott Spezio filling in for Albert Pujols at first base. He's had 6 games in the outfield, 11 games over at third, and his 4th start over at first. Let's go back to the fly ball. Hit to Sullivan.
Okay, we always talk about how a fielder will grip the ball and grab that 4-seam to get a straight grip on it. And here, most of the time, a guy can just spin the ball and automatically come up with it. You saw him really consciously make that effort to grip the ball the way he wanted so it doesn't sail.
Hit out to left off the bat of Spezio, and the catch is made by Holliday. Cardinals go 1-2-3, 5 innings in the books, and it's 6-1. Quintanilla, Helton, and Holliday, 2, 3, and 4 in the order for Colorado. And it's 6-1 St. Louis. Figure that this was a good test for the Cardinals. These 3 games. Off day on Monday, Al. Then we see the world champion White Sox. Starting on Tuesday night, we'll be in the Windy City. Then off to Detroit. And you're going to get a real good test to see where you're at right now in the major leagues.
Detroit has won the first 2 games of the Chicago Cubs series.
9-3 was the final today. Miles to his left. Another good play by the infield behind Jeff Suppan.
White Sox beat Cincinnati last night, and tonight those 2 teams are tied 5-5 with the White Sox batting the top of the 9th. Here's Miles, another play. A lot of ground balls in there that keeps all the infielders on their toes, and Cardinal defense has been very good.
Been a part of 4 plays tonight. Really, none of those have been routine. He's had range from his right and his left. Helton on the first pitch. Out to John Rodriguez. One of the things the Cardinals have done, they have neutralized Todd Helton in the first 4 games, this being the 5th between these 2 teams. And he's arguably the most dangerous bat in that lineup. Last time we saw him, he was getting over being sick, and he was certainly the hottest bat coming into play. He had reached something like 8 out of 9 or 9 out of 10 in the series against Washington coming into game 1 last night against the Cardinals.
He was 9 for 18 with a home run and 6 RBIs, and he had reached via the hitter walk in 11 of 15 plate appearances. in those 3 games in Washington.
That was just the 4th pitch this inning from Suppan.
Now, the interesting thing now is with the bigger lead, a 5-run lead and 2 outs and nobody on, Jeff will pitch to Holliday. It was apparent in the 4th inning with even a runner on first base. He didn't want any part of it.
He's homered and walked. Low strike on the outside corner. That gives Suppan a little break. 1-2. Let's see if Jeff goes right back to the same spot.
Well, he hit a home run off him to right field. And here they want to go up and in with the fastball.
Not so sure that wasn't as high as Molina wanted it.
No, it wasn't as high and really wasn't as far in, but got away with it. Ball 2 strikes. You see where Molina's standing right there, and then that ball was, above the belt, but really wanted up higher. Didn't want the slider, wants the fastball away.
Spezio, what a play. Backhand flips and safe at first is Holliday.
He was too easy with his flip to the first baseman. A good play, and give Holliday some credit because he had to be hustling down the line. It was an underhand flip, and it was too slow. Set up away. He gets him to reach for it. Hit hard, but here's a nice play. The dive scrambles up, but then he's a slow flip. You're either going to have to throw that one harder, or he's far enough away he can overhand it. But inexperienced at first base, and it paid off for Holliday right there with an infield single.
I think, Al, that's where you overhanded.
Right.
Pujols has done that.
A lot of times you don't want to, but there was enough separation that you're right.
Backhanded play by Roland. Force play at second. Bottom of the 6th coming up. All Cardinals thus far. 9 pitches, and that sequence for Suppan at 6.
Had some fun against this team that came in very hot. It swept the Washington series, actually had a better road record than their home games, and the Cardinals won convincingly 8-1 last night and have a 6-1 lead tonight.
Rodriguez on base a couple of times. Out in front of the pitch from Jeff Francis. No balls, 2 strikes. Rodriguez here, then Molina and Miles. J-Rod tripled and scored back in the 2nd. That's the 2nd triple we've seen this week off of Cardinal bats. The other, Chris Duncan. Chops that one foul.
2 unlikely guys.
Yeah.
Francis been 90 pitches, nearly twice as many strikes as balls, but been roughed up for 6 hits and 6 runs.
Colorado starts play just a game above 500, 2 games out in the West. 91 pitches thrown by Francis. Tied with San Francisco, but only 2 games back. It is up for grabs in the West.
San Francisco lost today, so they're at 500.
But everybody in that division 500 or better. Hit to second. Rodriguez out by a step. Dark clouds overhead. We did have rain this afternoon in St. Louis, and about 20-25 minutes prior to game time. I understand there might be some rain coming up later tonight. Tomorrow does not look good whatsoever. Last time that Colorado will be in town. Molina slowly hit to third. 2 away. They're looking to have a party at the new ballpark. The Cardinals have a new party area for sale. The Musial Bridge, available for groups of 40. Includes a full buffet, complimentary beer and soda, all for one great price. 345-9500. You press 1 to find out more. The end of the bat out to right. Cardinals down 1-2-3. Seventh inning coming up. Redbirds lead at 6-1. Now we always talk about superstitions in the game of baseball. Scott Spiezio avoids all lines, both of them, steps on the bag, and now he's ready for play. Superstitions in the game of baseball with Mr. Spiezio over there at first base. I know you probably saw 1,000 of them.
Oh, you never know how many.
Did you have any?
Yeah, I'm not really to that degree, but I would kind of get into a pattern what I did down the bullpen.
You weren't like Wade Boggs and
No,
just eating
chicken. And everything had, you know, I think wasn't it everything had a 7 at the end of it. What time element, what he did.
Another chance for Miles to his left. That's how we start the 7th. Wind is swirling, by the way, here at the ballpark. Temperatures have dropped a little bit.
Notice the flags in center field not blowing briskly, but if you look at the ones on the top of the roof, they are blowing harder. And the one up on the Deloitte building, you get a little idea, which is an indication that a little weather is approaching. It got very, very windy right about 2:30 when the first storm hit.
Well, we've got a light drizzle right now. Very, very light.
Oh, I can see it.
1-0 to Torrealba. 2 outs.
The way these pitchers are performing right now, he's got a good chance to get this in without a delay. But
now that's 12 ground ball outs from Jeff Suppan.
Nice. 5th time he's tried to get to 100 wins, and tonight he is very effective.
Barmes over 2. He was the first strikeout victim for Suppan back in the 5th. Soup has struck out 2.
The White Sox has just crashed in with 3 runs in the 9th inning. They take an 8-5 lead over Cincinnati.
They have won so many games late. Blasted bats. Final inning of play. Just keep coming at you. Reflection of Ozzie Guillen in many ways.
Jose Mesa, who just finished serving a 3-game suspension, is warming up.
Hit out to left. Rodriguez on the move. He's not going to get it. Down into the corner. And Barmes trots in with a 2-out double here in the top of the 7th. We'll see a pinch hitter.
Down and gets it. And peanut wrappers down there. Drew Freeman looks like is going to be the pinch hitter.
Drew Freeman. Six innings, 6 runs allowed by Francis, all earned. 6 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 2. Gave up 2 home runs, both off the bat of Juan Encarnacion.
Freeman had been 0 for 10 as a pinch hitter before getting a single on Saturday.
Breaking ball, 0-2. Jeff Suppan, one of the starters that's up for free agency after this season. And with what he has done, back-to-back 16-win seasons, beating Roger Clemens in 04, he's been a bargain.
And
it's Game 7 of the championship series, the National League.
Anytime he gives you 6 or more, it's a real plus.
Freeman strikes out. He carved him up on 3 pitches. 3 strikeouts on the night for Jeff Suppan. Jose Mesa. Mesa just turned 40 back in late May.
Still throwing very effectively. And see, just served the 3-game suspension. Originally, it was a 4-game suspension on April 28th for hitting the batter in San Francisco.
Our call to the bullpen brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers.
It was Vizquel. They were teammates, and some little critical things said about each other.
Downright nasty between the two. Suppan has a base hit tonight. He's 1 for 2. The Cardinals with 6 hits against Jeff Francis.
You know what Mesa's ERA is in Colorado? 0.50.
Wow.
In 18 games at Coors Field. Of course, he lost a game here when Albert lost one. Came in protecting a 2-1 lead, and Albert Pujols hit a 3-run home run off him.
Last pitch up and in to Suppan. It's a ball and 2 strikes. With Luna on deck and then so Taguchi, the Cardinals lead it 6-1 here in the 7th. Wow. Called 3rd strike on Suppan in that strike zone. Maybe they know that the weather is coming because this strike zone has gotten a little bit bigger.
With the Cardinals leading 6-1, so be it.
Yep. So Mesa gets a strikeout of Jeff Suppan.
Whitey Herzog told me he was leading off a game when he was playing for the Washington Senators. He said, first pitch, I thought it was, a couple inches outside. The umpire said strike 1. Next pitch, I thought it was about 6 inches outside. He said strike 2.
Broken bat. Luna hits it out to right, and it drops for a foul ball.
Looked back at the umpire, and he said, yes, Whitey, that's a strike. There's bad forecast, and we're going to get this game in. Whitey swung at the next pitch. If he made it out or whatever, when he went back to the on deck guy, he said, hey, we got bad weather. They're going to get the game in, so be ready to swing at everything. And he said, we had a snappy game. We beat the weather, and nobody complained.
We've got the largest crowd this season at the ballpark, 45,968. Here at the new Busch Stadium, 45,968. Look at that end game box score for the Cardinals, and you see Scott Rowland 0 for 3, and yet there's a purple glove worn by Jose Mesa. Rowland 0 for 3, and yet the rest of this team has stepped up. They've done that all season long, with Rowland out for quite some time with his sickness. Albert Pujols out now, and yet they find ways to win. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball in the dirt.
And Dan, if I'm not mistaken, with a win here tonight, they'll move back to 15 games over 500. I don't think they ever got to 16, did they?
No.
So that would be the high water mark and quite an accomplishment. But it's a reflection of Tony. He doesn't worry about what he doesn't have. He just dwells on what he does have available. And gets his guys to play hard for 9 innings, and he'll accept the consequences.
Luna is 0 for 3 on the night. The 2-2 pitch. Watch out. When Mesa was with Pittsburgh, Al, I went into the clubhouse, the visiting clubhouse, and he had pitched a couple of innings in the game just a year ago. He was the last guy to leave. I mean, he was still doing stretching and working out, and it's one of the reasons that he is still going strong here at the age of 40.
But they also say that he has just been a great influence on the younger pitchers in that bullpen.
The 3-2 by Mesa. Luna hits it out to deep right field, and Hopp is there to make the catch. There's 2 away. Luna 0 for 4, and it brings in Sho Taguchi. Jose Mesa began his career back in 1987. He was with Baltimore at that time. Spent a couple of years with Baltimore and then off to Cleveland. His best seasons were there. Was in San Francisco late in '98. 2 years in Seattle. 3 in Philadelphia. 2 in Pittsburgh. And now his first season with the Rockies. So hits it out to left. Holliday backs up, makes the catch, and we move to the 8th. Cardinals on top 6-1. To see in the leadoff spot while Eckstein is out. He very well could be back in there tomorrow. Our singular wireless question. It went to Hector Luna. It's in the leadoff spot tonight, but 0 for 4. May 5th at Florida, the last time that Suppan pitched into the 9th. We're in the 8th. He went 8 1/3 in that game. Positioned perfectly, Scott Rowland. 1 pitch, 1 out. Quintanilla now will dig in. 0 for 3. How about the night here of Jeff Suppan?
I like it.
1 run and 4 hits allowed. That's it.
You know, all those starting pitchers all the way through, it just had a little rough spell, but now you can see they're starting to feed off each other. Everybody's pitched well this time around except for Suppan, and we'll get him caught up in his next start.
Carpenter's coming off a 13 strikeout performance against the Pirates. He said it might have been the best stuff he has had of his career, and he's got a chance then, if the Cardinals hold on at 6-1, then to close out a sweep, and you know he'd love to do that.
Well, the one thing we've always seen, you know, a lot of times in the last couple of years, how they feed off each other. They, you know, get that friendly competition. They try to help everyone in the scouting report. This is how the guy's swinging now. This is what I saw. This is how I think you can get them out. And, you know, if you can get these guys, and we expected the starting pitcher to be one of the real strengths of this ball club, you get them pitching the way they're capable, you know, the bullpen problems will take care of itself when pitchers go this deep in their starts. How about Suppan here? You know, like I say, he's pitching in the 8th inning.
They feed off each other. Also, the competition between each of the individual starters, that's a factor as well. One-two pitch. Rowland dives for it. He can't make this one, can he? Still made it fairly close, and the fans will give him some applause on the effort.
That is the 5th hit tonight for the Rockies, and here just a miraculous stop, throws from his knees. I like what Spezio did right there. For an inexperienced first baseman, he did the right thing to come off the bag and make sure he blocked the ball instead of trying to stretch out there and have the ball get by him. But of the 5 hits the Rockies have, that is the 3rd infield single.
There's Todd Helton. 1 for 3 on the night. Cardinals have a right-hander getting loose in the bullpen.
Josh Hancock talked about the ability to neutralize Helton. There's Josh. Now you get a pitch, you get a starter into the 8th inning, everything falls into place in that bullpen.
No balls, 2 strikes on Todd Helton. He's been held in check in this series.
And good sign because he was hot coming in. Spezio playing back behind the runner at first.
Outfield deep for Helton. 0-2 pitch. Line back and foul.
That's 110 pitches for Suppan. His high tonight was when we were, or for the season, was 121, but only 6 innings the game in San Diego. We'd much rather have this effort and the results of this one. He lost that game.
That was a game that he had to go deep. Remember, everybody was sick after leaving San Francisco.
That's right.
Bullpen was short, so
including Jeff.
That's right. And they needed some help, and he gave it to him. Here comes another 0-2 pitch to help. Good pitch. In on the hands, and he is pitching tonight, Al. I mean, it's been all the cliches you want, up and down, changing speeds, but that's what he's done. 111 on the pitch count for Jeff Suppan.
He really has. He's pitched on both sides of the plate. It's been up and down. He's had these hitters off balance, getting a lot of ground balls. 3 infield singles, a double, and a home run allowed.
1-2 the count. season. Pitch speeds for Suppan 89.71 this inning, and first inning 91.73. We look at the variance, really not so much how hard he's throwing. He changes speeds.
Yes, not his strength.
Into center, and the catch is made by Sotoguchi. Let's go pitch by pitch. Suppan and Helton. This is brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers.
Well, you know, when you're aggressive, you throw a lot more fastballs, and even when you don't throw that hard, you can get by with it. So a couple pitches away, he just keeps on attacking away. Then he starts going in. There's like that good cutter in, a breaking ball down in the belt, and then a fastball at the bottom of the zone. Even when you're a fastball pitcher or a low ball hitter, that was down low enough, hit hard, but right at the center fielder. What a job by Suppan.
A copy of today's Post-Dispatch to get your St. Louis Cardinals historical ticket collection coupon, redeemable at over 500 participating retailers for $1.99 plus tax. The night for Suppan, 7 2/3, 5 hits, walked 2, struck out 3, and gave up the home run to Matt Holliday back in the second. He was superb. Our call to the bullpen is brought to you by your Mid-America Chevrolet dealers. Josh Hancock is in, 27th appearance, a record of 3-2.
Kind of the vulture out of the bullpen, picking up those victories, including a couple in the Milwaukee series. But what a job by Jeff Suppan tonight. 7 2/3 innings, 5 hits. He is responsible for the man at the plate. Just the home run off of Holliday, who the reason they made the pitching change is that Holliday is 2 for 2, but been on base all 3 times with additional walk. So you go to Hancock to try and get out of this 8th inning. He'll have a couple shots at right-handed batters before a lefty comes up, and so Flores is up and throwing in the pin.
Holliday on base 3 times. First pitch by Hancock, swung on and fouled back. Suppan, well, this is the 4th time, his 4th start this year with 100 pitches or more, and he's only allowed 5 hits or fewer than that. And 2 of those 3 starts, and that includes tonight, he has won. He did not take a decision in one of those starts. So he goes deep tonight, right down the middle. Nothing at 2. Cardinals can hold on. It's career win number 100 in the career of Jeff Suppan. Oh, 2 pitch by Hancock, blocked in the dirt by Molina. Looks like that shoulder or whatever problem was bothering Molina hasn't bothered him throughout the game.
No, and it was good to see last time up. He did swing the bat. So let's hope it was just something temporary. One ball, 2 strikes. Dangerous hitter off the plate, but he's got good plate coverage to the opposite field. Tap on the ground inside, make him think or feel the presence, think they're going to be inside, and then they try to work him away. A lot of times you see a guy that stands so far off the plate, you think you can get away from him, but that's where they like it a lot of times. Going to go away again with the slider.
2-2 pitch.
Hanger right in the middle.
Dislocation completely, but pulled foul. They scramble for it down the third base line.
The backup slider right there. Got ahead of him. 0-2. Run the count 2-2. Looking up at him, make sure he doesn't peek, and fastball away. Missing location. It's unbelievable to me how many times guys cannot locate their fastball. That was the one thing. Today's pitchers have much better off-speed pitches, but in years past, pitchers could spot their fastball, where today they rarely do. Try and go inside.
2-2 pitch again. Doesn't get the call. Very good pitch that time by Hancock.
Yeah, it's a good pitch, and if you talk to Bob Gibson, you'll say that's exactly what you want. You want a fastball inside off the plate where a guy can't hurt it.
Umpire was yelling back at Hancock as Hancock was questioning the call.
And there's no need for that.
6-1.
Well,
first batter.
You know, a pitcher has a right to ask, was it inside or something like that? Nobody knows about it. Now they go back away. And missing again.
Hit out to left. Rodriguez will get it back in quickly. And it's runners at first and third with 2 outs.
Sometimes you wonder why they even give a location, because they can't hit their spots.
There's Garrett Atkins with 2 outs, runners at first and third.
Flores will heat it up.
Atkins tonight grounded out to short, walked, hit into a fielder's choice. Spezio can't even find it. Don't worry about it. It's about 5 rows deep. And a similar play like that last night on a fair ball off the bat of Todd Helton.
And about the same time of night, you know, as the lights had not really taken effect at dusk here at the stadium, and that's why a ball goes in the air, you have every infielder start yelling and pointing to try and help out the outfielders, but they're a first baseman. Spezio couldn't locate it either.
Here comes a 1-1 from Hancock. Suppan is trying to get to 100 wins. As far as 200 wins currently active, only 7 pitchers.
Yeah, and Mulder got his 100th win earlier this season.
2-1 pitch. Driven out to deep right center field. Taguchi back. He's back. He's back. And it's gone. It carries out of here. A 3-run homer off the bat of Atkins, and all of a sudden it gets a little bit more interesting. It's 6-4 on home run number 10 by Atkins.
That ball just kept on carrying and carrying and carrying, and I think Taguchi is the most shocked that it eventually got out. Maybe even Atkins, but Taguchi, you see, I thought he thought, okay, it was hit well, that maybe end up somewhere in front of the warning track, and then it shot out.
That cleared it easily out of here. Suppan 7 2/3. One of those runs that just scored, charged to Jeff Suppan, the other 2 to Hancock. Flores will trot in for the bullpen at 6-4. Night after the final out here at Busch Stadium. It's the Midwest Sports Report. If you're looking to have a question answered, email the guys, mwsr@foxsports.net. The Busch Light Midwest Sports Report. Randy Flores into the ball game, trying to get the final out here in the top of the 8th. Atkins has made it interesting with his home run. It's now 6-4. Colorado has actually out-hit the Cardinals 7-6. And here is Brad Hopp. Flores very tough on lefties all season long.
Away, now inside. Looked like to be a relatively easy game, is now coming down to that As a baseball fan, I like it this way. That you get into it where it appears the ninth inning is going to still be seesaw. Who will win it?
One-two pitch by Flores. He got him. Pop knew it. Midway through the eighth. 6-4 St. Louis. Biggest crowd on hand this season at the new Busch Stadium, 45,968. Brian Fuentes is into the ball game for Colorado, a lefty, 6'4", 230-pounder. He's a guy, Al, that proved to be very, very valuable a season ago, and he's 14 of 16 in save opportunities this year.
Yeah, he's their closer, and last year he didn't have one save, but he's earned that right. He's tough on batters, particularly left-handed batters, but all opponents are only batting 183 off him. He has allowed runs in 3 of his last 4 opponents, or appearances, excuse me. And he had given up just 3 total runs in his first 23 outings.
Fuentes, originally selected by Seattle back in 1995, acquired by Colorado from the Mariners. Jose Piniagua was part of that deal, and Denny Stark for infielder Jeff Cirillo. And Fuentes, I guess, in the scheme of baseball, Al, you never know where you might wind up, and he by default becomes a closer, and he's pretty darn good.
Yeah, and if you watch his delivery, you can see he hides the ball so well. They don't see him release the ball. And so even the right-handed batters, that ball gets on top of them a lot quicker than they think. And he also can throw. That last one was 93 miles an hour. So deceptively quick, and he's quick in general.
Scott Rowland is hitless tonight, 0 for 3. 2-1 pitch. Good rip. Including tonight, Al, Rowland is 1 for 17 this season against Colorado. And he has not had a hit in this series, and yet the Cardinals have a chance to take the first 2. No Albert Pujols. Edmonds not playing tonight. Rowland hitless in the series, and yet the Cardinals a chance to take the first 2.
Talking about if Suppan and the Cardinals win this game, would be Jeff's 100th win. There'll be 35 active pitchers in the 100 win column.
Rowland strikes out.
And you know, there are 2 of those 35 also have 100 saves.
Good trivia question here, Al. You got me thinking now. John Smoltz comes to mind.
Yep, that would be one of them. That's kind of old-fashioned. That's kind of like how Eckersley and you know, Raleigh Fingers, guys like that.
Deep right off the bat of Encarnacion, trying to pick up his 3rd home run. It's misplayed by Hop, and Juan winds up at second. Cardinals could use a little insurance here in the 8th.
2-base error. So
he was just drifting back. You're killing me. Who's the other one?
we got to wait. We got to see this replay as Hop, who made an error last night, goes back and a little casual. Might have taken his eye off it or something, but it just got a little one-handed, and there's the end result. Looks cool when you make it, but it looks pretty bad when you miss it trying to play one-handed catching in the outfield. 2-base error. Think of that a hit? Oh, come on. You got to be kidding. This is the big leagues, huh?
7th hit for the Cardinals.
I'm happy for a Cardinal hitter, but that's ridiculous.
So 1-out double for Encarnacion. Spezio is swinging a miss. I'm wondering if Scott Spezio can make it through 9 tonight. And here he is in the 8th. Picked up. That'll find the seats out of play.
Isringhausen warming up, so we're going to get that taste of Izzy pitching at home after he became the all-time Cardinal saves leader.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Oh, you know, Dan, the writers have complained that they can't see the field. So I'll give a little slack to the official score. Must be the only excuse. Extra insurance run sure would be nice.
2-2 pitch. Instead, a look at Encarnacion at second base.
Had a better chance of picking off his middle infielders than he did Encarnacion.
They weren't even moving.
No.
Really took some off that pitch at 73 miles an hour.
Not like what he did with Scott Rowland. You throw it up in the 93, and then when you get that 20-mile-an-hour differential, and you really aren't picking up the location, it's tough.
Fuentes, along with Jose Jimenez, have the longest save streaks in Rockies history. Last year, he saved 17 in a row at one point. Wound up with 31. All-Star a year ago. So John Smoltz would be one with the saves wins combination. And the other?
Oh, Flash Gordon.
Tom Gordon.
Phillies closer now after starting for several years, going back and forth.
Then he was a setup man,
for the Yankees.
Rivera there. Rodriguez tonight on base twice, a triple. Was hit by a pitch, 2 runs scored.
I really missed, apologize to Brian Fuentes. When I looked at it, I saw some other number when I didn't see the 31 saves a year ago.
Slings it up there, an odd delivery.
Well, that's it. And you could see, I mean, he's been tough on right-handed batters, but extremely tough on the lefties. And J-Rod got to hold that front shoulder in and try and drive the ball to the opposite field.
1-2 pitch. Strikes out the side, sends us to the 9th. 6-4, Cardinals on top. Recap brought to you by Jack in the Box at 6-4 Cardinals. As we move to the top of the 9th, Jeff Suppan is in line for the victory, which would be career win number 100 for Soup. And he went 7 2/3. 2 runs allowed on 5 hits. The defensive story tonight, in particular, the infield. Cardinals were able to get to Jeff Francis, Juan Encarnacion with a couple of home runs and a double. And that's the difference in the game as Jason Isringhausen is into the ball game for St. Louis. So look at your game recap brought to you by Jack in the Box. And as we talked about last night, this would be a good test for Isringhausen, who seems to be back on track, but doing it at home has been a little difficult for him this season.
Very comforting to know that he's the Cardinals' all-time save leader with 161. He's picked up his 22nd save. That ties for the Major League lead. And I also noticed they had a quiz of who had the best save percentage in Cardinal history. And they had Bruce Sutter up there. They had Lee Smith. It might have been Todd Worrell and Izzy. And Izzy has the highest win percentage. First pitch strike brings a cheer to the crowd.
Give you some finals throughout this 9th inning. Boston over Atlanta 5-3. Washington 11-9 over the Yankees. Detroit beat the Cubs 9-3. Seattle over San Francisco 8-1. Angels over San Diego 3-2. Florida over Toronto 8-2. White Sox beat Cincinnati 8-6, so the Cardinals can get a game up on Cincinnati, add to their lead. Milwaukee over Cleveland 3-2, and Minnesota over Pittsburgh 5-3.
Is he trying to pitch to contact, throwing more strikes, and I think using his fastball a lot more. You use it, you gain velocity. Now you can throw your cutter, his bread and butter pitch.
Got him. Freezes Jamie Carroll. A strikeout to start the inning for Izzy.
Trying to set up away. It's got a little movement to it, but it's far enough outside there, and especially if a batter doesn't swing at it, you're doing good shape.
Seen Freeman, Carroll, and now J.D. Klosser as a pinch hitter. Piedra and Spielborg still on the bench for Colorado.
Switch hitter. He's their catcher.
.93 in our gun from Isringhausen.
Spent all last year with Colorado and began the season with the AAA where he hit a .299.
Isringhausen, all-time saves leader at 161. 22nd save on Thursday. This one is hammered out to deep right. Encarnacion back, and it's a one-run Cardinal lead. J.D. Klosser off the bench, and it's 6-5. A 2-0 pitch by Isringhausen. He fell behind, and Klosser smoked it.
I was going to pitch to contact, and sometimes you'll get burned. Had 7 home runs last year, you know, down and in. They have that swing where it almost seems like their natural swing is down low, and you get it out there. But you'd rather have that than a walk.
There's Piedra. He's going to use everybody on his bench. Only guy left is Spielborgs.
Jamie Carroll. You put him in the field? No,
Carroll started the inning and struck out.
I'm sorry. That's why I didn't see him.
0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, a good one from Izzy. So Klosser has made this a one-run Cardinal lead. 0-2 the count. Another curveball coming. Molina wants it in the dirt. It's another pitch that, you know, as much as he throws the cutter, gets away from the curveball too, Al, and he's got a devastating curve.
Yeah. And it's one of the few times he shook off the cutter for the curveball.
Got him with the curveball.
Yep. That away he is.
Our plays of the game brought to you by Budweiser. Thanks to Juan Encarnacion. Couple of home runs for Juan. First one, a 2-run shot back in the first. Got things going against Jeff Francis. His second time up, leads off the bottom of the fourth. Crowd of 45,968. Rise. Corey Sullivan as we're back to the top of the order.
Fastball down. Cutter. Strike one.
Left-handed bat got the home run. Klosser.
Incorporate all the pitches and make it that much more difficult. Like another cutter.
2 strikes.
You know, you seem to Just saw the pitcher before, batter before he threw the curveball so effectively. Sullivan doesn't have a lot of power, so you can use all three of your weapons, and a hitter's guessing.
Isringhausen at home, 11 saves and 14 opportunities.
Now the
Trying to make it
curveball.
12.
First time this batter's seen the devastating curveball.
Got him. Game over. Isringhausen the save. 6-5 the final. Career win number 100 for Jeff Suppan. Cardinal Baseball produced by Bud Productions, an exclusive presentation of FSN Midwest. Cardinals hold on. It got interesting at the end, but they win it 6-5. Rockies Cardinals tomorrow on the WB at 1 with Wayne and Ricky. More to come on the Midwest Sports Report.